Honda HRC team.
Okay.
So let's fire off with Hunter here. So Hunter obviously been riding this off season. Paris SX winner there. Did he win the Ozex too?
He won Ozex.
He won Ozex. Oh, he didn't win Paris.
No.
Coupe won Paris. Sorry.
Very underwhelming too at Paris, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he is going to be sneaky good this year. And I know there's been some talk through some of the other talking heads I've listened to this week about him, about the outdoor season, and SMX is kind of skewing our thoughts about him because he did well in outdoors and he did well in SMX.
Oh, they don't think he's going to do as well.
And he was a rookie.
Worse,
like everybody
yeah.
looks past that.
Yeah.
So wait, you're saying that people are thinking that like we're putting too much stock into what he did outdoors?
Yes.
I think that's stupid.
Yes, and it's a
think that's
certain
dumb.
person,
Yeah, I
which
think
I'll
that's
get
dumb.
to.
Yeah,
I'm going to
I'm
rant
kinda
about
with you.
him
I'm kinda with you.
later,
It's
but
a 250 Supercross, Jim. I know it's not the same thing. That's dumb. Okay, anyways, go ahead.
my thing is that we've watched this with Hunter's career of he just continues to get better. He's almost like, for lack of a better term, like the diesel engine. Like he gets better and better. We watched it in
He's
250s. We watched it this. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I do think this year he is going to be a podium threat every time out there. Like he is going to that position of a top 5 is okay. But the podium is where he's really looking to be and
as long as he
expected to
doesn't
be.
stack up with Freeze in the first turn.
Well, that's a whole other thing. So
No, I would agree with you on that, Travis. I think he's definitely going to be sneaky good.
Okay.
I mean, there are a couple races that I can think back to that I would personally blame his fitness on. Just where he was out front. Little brother chased him down. Little brother may have let him have a couple of them if there wasn't pressure from behind.
Are you probably speaking about Denver? Where
Denver
he was out
one
front.
that I can kind of point back to. I think end of the season. Little brother may have gave him one, but
Yeah.
Anderson was coming like a freight train, and
Jen
some other
knew he
guys
needed to
were
go.
still coming late.
Yep.
My biggest worry with Hunter is just where's his fitness at? I believe there's other things that are involved that may hold him back in that department. Body burning himself out, or how can he maintain his body to get through the whole season is my biggest concern with Hunter Lawrence.
that is a big concern there, strictly for the fact of we've seen this here of, and I've heard somebody mention this that was close to them, of like he's very more susceptible to little inconsistencies with things when it comes to body.
Yeah.
Like, and that's something with, I mean, we've all talked about his diabetes or whatever that he's messing with, and the diet can throw him off just a little bit. So there's lots of things that can throw him off. So just so we know too, he was 9th overall in points last year in Supercross with missing around.
Well, remember when we were talking about this back and forth halfway through the year when J. Coop was doing really well, and we were starting to like level that up, like who's having a better season when Hunter, and we were kind of just leaning towards, man, like J. Coop's been fastest qualifier. He's led some, he led some heat races. He didn't win one, and then Hunter came on strong, and we looked at the end of the year, we're like, damn, like
No,
they've
Hunter
pretty
would-
much been the same person.
Yeah, but I think Hunter gets the nod because Hunter was in contention for SMX. I mean, he came out swinging and, in my mind, straight up beat Eli and Jet in that second round.
Oh, I agree
which
too.
was very impressive.
2 top 5s, 2 podiums.
The only thing
last year.
He was also in the driver's seat of the outdoor championship at one point in time, and Justin Cooper was nowhere near that.
Red
So,
plate, yeah.
The only thing that, and I totally agree with both of you guys on every level of this conversation. The only thing I am worried about with Hunter, and we've talked about this, and you've mentioned this quite a few times, and I don't know if, this show was specifically the first people to say it or it's happened on other shows, but like how he gets when he's around Jet. Like him feeling comfortable with Jet behind him, make it like, hey man, like you got to go. You can almost hear like Jet yelling like, fucking go, let's go.
like they need each other.
They can build off of each other. The only thing that worries me with Hunter is I don't necessarily know, and I wouldn't disagree, I just don't know yet, if he has the outright speed any night he doesn't get a top 5 start to work his way through the pack. Not saying he's not smart enough, because he's clearly shown he's a 250
He can work through the pack, for
I
sure.
just don't know if on the nights that, like, say he's like 7th and Jet, Eli, Chase, whoever, they're buried for whatever reason. They're just buried.
Yeah.
Is Hunter going to be able to take advantage of that and work his way towards the front and not necessarily win? Because we all know you get a 5th place start no matter who's out front. If it's Coop, whatever, it's going to be hard to run those guys down outside of your name being Jet Lawrence.
Yep.
is he going to have the speed to work his way through and capitalize on everybody being a little worse than him? And that is where I still don't know if his outright speed, his top end speed, is good enough. I think he does everything else well. We talk about how smooth Jet is on a bike. I'll argue that I think Hunter is actually more technically sound than Jet is, because Jet still seems to get a little bit loose or whatever, and Hunter is calculating things in his brain a lot more. And sometimes it's to a fault, and I think sometimes it works against him.
I think it definitely works against him, but he's thinking more. Yeah. He's more mature. He's
doesn't end up on the ground as much.
Thinking. Yeah.
But you guys think that if he gets like a 7th place start, he can work his way towards the front if all the other top guys are like, say Malcolm or Jay Cooper, who's ever out front, he's like 7th, and like everybody else that he's battling for the titles like 10th, 11th for whatever reason. Is he fast enough to work his way through towards the front to get a win?
I think it depends on the night. If he's on, yes.
Okay.
If he's on,
all
right. But I don't think he's a guy he's on every single time he hits the track.
Okay.
I'll be honest. So. I don't know. So I went back. I watched A1, but obviously A1's not a good marker for this.
No,
and then we had all
night.
The mud rounds too last year, right? But I didn't watch any of the other ones. I didn't go watch like Indy or anything like that to really like pay attention. Like, okay, when how does he ride in these stadiums like that? So I'll be honest, I don't really know if the trend continues like it did outdoors last year with him and Jet, and now he's obviously comfortable, hopefully won't come in and get freezed right off the fucking rip this year, then I think there's a possibility that you're going to see him do very similar things like they did outdoors. As you just stated, and I've stated a whole bunch of like, when Jet's there, it's like his comfort zone of like, I ride with him every day. So like, cool. If he's going this speed, I'm going this speed. And if Jet's going a speed that's 5 seconds faster than everybody else, Hunter's going to be 5 seconds faster than everybody else, because he's just like, yeah, dude, I'm just riding with my brother. He's
going to trust him. He's going to latch onto him and trust him, where we all know that like there's guys out there, you try to latch onto somebody in front of you and mark them. You're not necessarily like comfortable because you don't really know what they're going to do. They're like, oh, hey, they've gone 3-3 quad every lap. And like, can he do it consistently? Where with Jet, he knows that like, hey, Jet more than likely is going to be able to do this for fucking 20 plus 1.
Yeah, so
that's an interesting thought that I've never thought.
Yeah,
in my mind. I've never. I guess maybe I just suck at race IQ, but
no, I mean, I think it's just like, I think with these two, it's a different situation than we've ever seen before, because we didn't like. The only other time we ever saw brothers race was obviously Stu and Malcolm, and Stu was at the back end of his career, and Malcolm was just out of shape.
Yeah,
and then J Mart and Amart
situation didn't really work out either.
Who's that?
The Alessi situation.
No, and then J Mart and Amart. No offense to Big Al, but J Mart was on a totally different level than those two.
That is the thing with brothers, is like there always seems to be one real dominant one. Where like in this case, it's like there is a real dominant one, but
Hunter can go. With
Hunter
Jet.
Can go.
He can go with Jet.
Yeah.
Now his win record against Jet isn't great, but he can go with Jet.
Yeah,
especially at High Point.
Yeah, what the fuck is up with that? Every fucking year, dude.
Okay.
Hey, look, it's RJ who's not going to ride west.
So let's move on. We'll get to that. That's it. That we'll talk about that when we talk about the Husky team. All right, let's get on to Jet then.
Yes.
Defending champ. What did he have last year? 7 wins, 8 wins,
7
like
wins.
7
yeah, because I think we went over this because we thought it was more, and it was actually
because he won 10% of the. Everybody freaked out about the 72 thing. It's like he won 10% the first year.
Yeah,
like,
7
with one. He threw one away.
Yeah, with throwing one away. So I think number one, I'm very sad. The 450 class has broke him. He is no longer that fun-loving kid.
That's exactly.
We talked about this though. We knew this was going to happen.
We knew it was going to happen. Very serious.
Exactly what I wanted
Everybody
to talk
can
about.
suck his fucking dick as
and
far
how long
as
is
he's
he going to be able to
concerned.
do this at this? Because I feel like
He doesn't care about the haters.
Yeah.
All this crap. Now, again, I think this is just one of those growing pains. We've seen this with Eli. We've seen it with other people. You go from that up-and-coming kid that everybody loves to then all of a sudden you're winning all the time, everybody hates you, and then all of a sudden you're a living legend.
I mean, it ruined RV. It ruined RV.
I think this is a huge year for Jet Lawrence.
But I think home life. I don't want to say home life because that sounds like Kiefer talking about his chick, but I do think his family dynamic with RV did not help him at all.
No, because he really never even wanted
where
to.
He didn't have it. Where
This was
Jet
not
has that. Jet has Dazzy to keep his feet on the floor. Jet has Hunter to be like, bro, we're just here to fucking ride dirt bikes.
Mom's
like,
there,
mom's there,
there,
brother's there. Like, at the end of the day, there are people there
I think his chick's super supportive of him.
Yeah, that can be like, bro, we're just riding fucking dirt bikes. Like, who cares if they don't like you?
Yeah.
Don't take it that
You
serious.
don't know these people.
Be a good person and move on, right? Now, with that being said, I think he wins 10 to 12 rounds this year and repeats.
I don't think he wins 10 to 12. I think that he is the overwhelming favorite, as he should be.
How many do you think he wins?
I don't know, man, because we do this every year, and I think with Jet it's very, very hard. And the reason why I say that is because I think you have 3 Jets now, 3 Jet Lawrence versions now. And let me explain. There'll be nights where he yanks a holy and he sprints away, dictates the pace, wins by 5-10 seconds, and we just go, yep, Jet continues to prove that this is who we think Jet is, and this is where Jet is at. There's going to be other nights where he gets a terrible start. Track doesn't lend himself to doing what he wants to do. He's not really, we go back to the race IQ, he's not analyzing things, he's just reacting.
Yeah, he's pretty good at running into the back of people.
Yeah, he ends up, or, Barsha, ends up on the ground. Or there's going to be other nights where he gets a terrible start. He's going a second and a half faster than everybody else, gets like a third or fourth, and we just all go, man, if he got a start, he probably would have won, but he didn't because he didn't do himself any favors.
Yeah.
And I think those are the 3 versions of Jet. And if you look back to last year, or technically still this year, we got all those versions. We got the dominant one. We got the guy that crashed too many times that we're like, what the fuck are you doing? We understand you're a rookie, but you're too good for this. And other nights where, holy shit, this kid's insanely fast, but he still didn't win, but he minimized the damage.
Yeah.
So, like, when you ask that, it's hard because any one of those Jets can show up. Because if you look back, other than 2023 Outdoors, Jets really never had a easy title. Like, he's won them, and where mathematically you go, yeah, that guy could maybe win, but he still wins by, like, 20 points. Yeah. But you look back and go, damn, Jet definitely made this a lot harder on himself. So I do agree. He is overwhelming favorite. But I don't know on the wins because we all thought, like, that he was going to get way more than he did last year. And 7, obviously, is great, your rookie season. But as Cole just said, and you've stated many times, you could probably go, yeah, man, he probably could have won more than that had he not, shot himself in the foot.
He probably could have gone 8 to 10 last year. Easy.
He could have.
Yeah.
But part of it, too, that we fought last year was we fought the weather everywhere we fucking went.
But we could do that again this year.
I understand that. And that's something that we don't know till race day, basically, right? But I'm saying normal track conditions there. Do you think he makes the same mistakes that we've seen already? Do you think he runs into the back of somebody? Do you think he wads himself in the whoops 3 times trying to make up time? Do you think he turns down in the corner and gets fucking just annihilated by Barsha again? Like,
I do you think
he makes those mistakes?
Not as bad, but I still think he's going to because I think that
couple of them trickle out.
I think it's hard for him because he's so much better than 99% of the dudes he's in the pack with that his brain is reacting, or his brain is like going through things so quickly, and when you get in the pack, like, other dudes are just trying to get into a flow, and we know that Jet gets into a groove very early. Well, when you're in a groove that early and you're bunched up and everybody else is still feeling out, even if it's Barsha, Ando, they're still feeling out the pace. What is the track doing? Is it slippery? Where the rut, like, I think that he's going to make those mistakes even if he's not trying to, because he's just going so much faster than everybody else in that group. I don't think it's going to be as bad. I think the whoops thing, I don't think that's going to happen. But I still think that if he gets a bad start, he is just going to make mistakes because he's just going faster than everybody else.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point. Yeah. I don't know. I don't see him making the same mistakes. Can stuff happen? Yeah, I still could totally see. I could see him doing something dumb like hitting the gate, like trying to jump the gate, hit the gate. Dumb shit. Like, there's shit like that I like. Yeah, and there's other things that obviously we don't know, like weather, that kind of stuff that I could see. I just find it hard to believe that he isn't going to pull 10 this year. I think he's going to hit double digits. He's got a new goal, too. In some of the interviews I've listened, his new goal is to win all 3.
Win all 3 what?
Supercross, motocross, SMX
all in the same year? I mean, we all thought he was going to win outdoors last year.
So that leads me right into what's on my mind is I really hope he's goal-oriented and keeps moving the goalposts.
Yeah.
Because right now, like, I see a kid that doesn't like the spotlight and has no choice but to be in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be a huge, huge year for him because if he loses, everybody is going to be happy that he lost. If he wins, everybody's going to be pissed that he wins.
Mm-hmm.
So for him as a man and mentally, how does he react? Like, we know he's going to go out and win a shitload of races. Is he going to win a title? He's going to be. If he doesn't, he's going to be right there. There's no way, barring he gets hurt. So, I don't know. I just think it's, where do the goalposts keep going from here on out?
Well, I think you've got several goalposts to move with him. Okay, number one, we've already seen the 72, so that goalpost is still way out there, obviously. Yeah. Number two, now he's realizing, okay, cool, nobody's ever won all 3 titles in 1 year. That's now my fucking new goal that I'm going to say out loud right now. Then I think you've got a perfect Supercross season, and is that even possible?
I don't think that's possible.
Who knows?
I don't think it's possible.
Who knows?
But if you need a goal to keep you going, there you go. And then once you do that, then it's like, okay, cool. Can I go perfect 31? Can I win every Supercross, every outdoors, every SMX round? I mean, I think there's goalposts for him. Now, those goalposts are fucking nuts compared to what everybody else.
I think he even knows that some of those aren't achievable. It's just, it's impossible.
And it's just how old is he? 21?
21 or 22.
I think he's 21. I think he's 21 now.
It's different when Ricky was this age and kicking everybody's ass and dominating, because he didn't have a consistent microscope on you.
Yeah.
In today's day and age, you got cameras everywhere. Everybody's got a cell phone in their pocket to video if you're doing something bad or doing something wrong. The camera's always going to be on you, like the Anderson and him incident. I mean, back in the day, if Chad Reed was pissed at somebody, you weren't going to get that kind of coverage. You weren't going to see it. Now, everybody's got a mouth to run, and it's just, I can't imagine what you got to deal with at that age.
Yeah.
Being at the top of a sport. I mean, think about it.
And I also think now, too, and even though the people that I'm about to say he is on a different level than those people, he's not made enemies, though, in the 450 class. There are people that don't like him. And even though he's so much better than them, we all talk about this every time. Like, not the nights when he's feeling it, but the nights when he's working his way through the pack.
Now, I think one of his enemies is going to be a little better this year, too.
I agree with that, and I think I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about. I just think that there's so many more factors now going into a second year in the 450 class full time, that even though he is the overwhelming favorite, I think that there's just a lot more that he's going to be thinking about every weekend. And like you said, the mental side, he's already getting burned out. And the goalpost, as Cole just said as well, that's something to help you move through the burnout. But it's like, the problem is that he's going through burnout already at a very young age. The guys that we've talked about that went through burnout, they were in the mid-20s, and they had retired not so long after. He's 21, maybe 22. I think he's 21. How long? Guys can only go through that kind of mental,
it's almost like he needs to lose one, and the losing one will be the best thing to happen to him.
But he technically did. He lost outdoors last year.
But he got hurt.
It doesn't matter.
He hasn't
lost
been
outdoors.
Got hurt twice.
He hasn't been in one the whole season.
Yeah.
And lost.
Just how long is he? I think my whole thing is just how long can he go with his mental burnout before it's actually becomes too much, where he doesn't want to do it.
I don't think it'll be that bad. I think the thing is that, like, he's gone through this playful kid stage, right? And in doing that, come up on this massive trajectory, right? And this is the first point that he's reached where it's like, ooh, not everybody likes me all of a sudden. But again, I don't think it's that bad. And I think there's enough smart people in his corner to be like, bro, this is just part of the thing. They've all gone through it. Tomac, RV, fucking RC, Stu. They've all gone through it where people loved him, then fucking hated him. I mean, look at Stu. All you got to do is go talk to Stu. People loved that guy when he came in. Then all of a sudden he gets in the 450 class, and people fucking hated him.
The hate for him actually went way too far.
He is a legend, and there is quite literally barely anybody you walk through the pits isn't like, dude, Stu's fucking sick.
Yeah. He went through a lot of hate.
So I don't think that'll be a big problem. Is anybody worried about the bike situation?
That's exactly what was next on my mind.
Okay.
No, not at all.
I'm actually thinking this is going to work to their advantage, because maybe they don't come out swinging, running right away.
I had this thought too, that they might start slow.
Slowly traject through the season.
Yep.
And hey, I didn't have it tonight. Bike's not as good, but I still got third.
Are you going back to the Paris whoop situation? Is this where this comment's coming from?
Well, that too. So
I watched so many times him doing that, the press day or their version of press day.
Yeah.
And
He
all
did
I was
not
thinking
look
of,
good in the
all I was thinking in my mind is I was like, dude, Jet is he's trying to push it too hard coming in.
Well,
and just
the
every
bike's
time.
not taking it. Yeah.
No.
So everything I listened to with them and Dazzy and everybody was they'd only been on the bike for 6 days, like the 25 in Supercross, right? They'd only been on it for 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
They thought they had a setting that was okay, and then in literally that they realized, oh, that's a little soft. I will say that they went from that. Obviously, they then went to Australia there, where they've been.
They basically rode production bikes over there.
They rode production bikes over there, and I will insider knowledge here. They just got back to the dog pound and rode for the first time Friday.
Well, I think also too, if you look at those whoops and
So they've got 3 weeks,
and this is like
4 weeks, whatever the fuck it is.
just like obsessed with technique and watching and breaking stuff down. But there was a thing that I noticed of maybe why Jet was having an issue, not only for the fact that he was on a production bike, but if you watched a lot of those, and I don't know if you guys probably already know this, but now, and I love this for the whoop, especially with the 9 whoop rule, we're rolling the whoops now. All of them. So they stay consistent, but they're a lot harder, so they don't give way. So when the front end touches first, it doesn't absorb it as much. It bounces a little bit. If you watched a lot of those guys that were hitting those whoops perfectly, which everybody was having problems, but like some of the French guys like Gregory Ronde was getting through them pretty quickly. A lot of them, and we all know a lot of these 450 guys, like there's no need to use fourth gear in the whoops. Like
There's only one guy that runs fourth in the
exactly.
whoops.
Well,
Jason
you look
Anderson.
at Jet, and Jet we know has so much fucking whoop speed. Trying to come into third, you look at a lot of the guys that were getting through those whoops, they were short shifting fourth coming out of the corner, so they were letting the bike lug into it. So that chain wasn't as tight when it hit the whoops. So I think what Jet's problem was, there was so hard and there was not as much give. That chain already had so much torque on it, it was just spinning like fucking crazy every time it hit a whoop.
Interesting.
And if you watched a lot of them, that's why I think a lot
Side
of
to
his
side, but yeah, also wheel spin to drop the front end too.
And if you just go back, if you guys get bored and just watch that, how guys were setting up for the whoops. And that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that's fact, but if you just watch a lot of the guys that were getting through a little bit better than Jet in the beginning, a lot of them were they were shifting fourth coming out, and they were just lugging into the whoops.
I've never sat and really looked at it like that, but
I love that shit though. So like, I'll watch that and break it down.
You'll really like this. A little off topic, but I watched it on the way here. Have you watched the club off-season episode?
I started it. I didn't watch it all the way.
So they get midway through, and Brayton's just talking whoops, and they spend the whole day Brayton teaching them how to do whoops. And he's like, "There's only one guy." He was like, "There's only one guy that hits them in fourth gear, Jason Anderson," and then start talking about transmission ratios. And he's like, "Me personally, I run third."
Yeah,
it was interesting.
That's super cool.
Ando runs fourth more than anybody I've ever seen on a Supercross.
I've never seen anybody use a shifter as much as Anderson.
Well, I watched him like the video that Swap put out, and I watched him a couple times. And I think to like the naked eye, somebody who doesn't really know how Anderson rides, you'd watch him and you'd see him like double tapping in the air and be like, "Oh, he's going down to first." It's like, no, man, listen to that bike. He's not double tapping down to first.
No. Yeah.
It's fucking wild, but like works.
One other thing before we get done with Honda. Get ECUs this year instead of in-house.
Ooh,
where do we see that going?
Well, they used them on the 250s and they were really fucking good. So
I mean, those boys weren't yanking starts in the 250 class, and I think ECU is the whole ticket to getting a start. So where are these guys' starts going to be?
That'll be interesting.
I don't know. True. I don't know. That it is true. That is a thing.
That is very.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
That's going to make if they struggle with that the first couple rounds, especially if it's a mud race, which I mean at that point, like you're throwing everything out the window. But either way,
I mean, I don't know a lot of behind the scenes. Do they have a Honda guy there tuning the ECU, or
I don't know.
You know,
I don't have any idea about it.
We know how good those Honda starts are.
I'm not super concerned about it, but we'll see. It'll be interesting, something to keep an eye on. Of like if their start struggle is at the ECU situation.
Yeah,
so.
It's the first thing you can point your finger at. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to Star. Just want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys like this kind of content and you want to see the full show, it's linked right here. If you guys want to make sure that you never miss an update, you never miss a show, a live stream, a bike build, or anything that we're doing, make sure to hit that subscribe button there and make sure to turn on notifications with the bell. If you want to join our members area to help support the show, that's greatly appreciated too. And you can check us recording things live that other people in the general public don't get to see. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see y'all on the next one.